Hello, this is Tim Moore from Clixie Media. The presentation that you were about to watch are the highlights from Clixie Media's presentations at the Partner Product Days on January 23rd at 10:15 Mountain Time. Thank you to everyone that attended the presentation, and thank you also to the Partner Product team for hosting the event. Clixie Media was proud to present the findings of the partnership between Clixie, Canvas, and the University of Michigan. Clixie provided a unique integration into the University of Michigan Canvas's platform for the addition of interactive video learning tools for online education in the virtual classroom. With us were Professor David Brophy, Director of the Office for the Study of Private Equity Finance from the Ross School of Business, and he conducted the class in his Finance 329-629 Financing Technology Commercialization class. This class has been at Ross since 2004 and fosters the financing of innovation and entrepreneurship in a blended BBA and MBA classroom. The purpose of the Clixie pilot was to determine if video interactivity, as integrated with the Canvas learning management system, would improve the learning experience for instructors and students, and if so, how and where, such as mobility, for example, and where the interactivity would be most effective for the students. One of the teaching students that was also present during the demonstration, Reed Hostrander, was in charge of student support, filming the videos in and out of class, adding interactive elements, and posting the Clixified videos to the Canvas learning management system for student viewing. Reed, along with Clixie team members, monitored the student behavior as they interacted with the videos during the semester. So Clixie was introduced into several areas within the classroom structure. The video were focused on, first of all, the concept of classroom video announcement. So short videos were released prior to the week's upcoming class, featuring Professor Brophy as the speaker in the video, that explained what assignments were due, what speaker would be featured in the next class, and what to know or to read before coming to class. The videos were posted 3 to 5 days before the actual class sessions on Wednesday evenings, as classes were held once per week. So as an example of how interactivity actually works inside of the classroom, we will now show a brief example of one of the video announcements. The most important thing to understand is the concept of the interactivity is based around the concept of a timed event, that a viewer of the video may want to find out more information about a particular topic that is seen inside of the video or that is talked about inside of the video. So at the appropriate time inside of the video, when Professor Brophy mentions upcoming speakers or other topics that will be covered in the upcoming class, at that precise moment that he mentions that, a Clixie will be triggered, and a Clixie is an ability to go find out more information about that particular subject. So let's watch a brief example.
Hi class, company executives, mentors, and adjunct mentors. I hope the presentation by Brent Elliott on early stage finance was valuable to you and your team.
So as Professor Brophy is discussing the ongoing things that are coming up in the class, as you can see in this upper right-hand corner, what's happening is it's triggering what we refer to as these Clixies. Now, Clixies are very functional and are able to do many different things. In this particular example, by clicking on it, what it does is it stops the video and opens up another tab in the browser that you can find out more information about the particular subject or object that is featured in this video. Also, you're able to deliver homework assignments, other active information as this goes on. Again, this is the most basic layer or basic level of the interactivity and the functionality, and the students adapted to it very quickly. So the second thing that we introduced inside of Professor Brophy's class was the concept of speaker videos. Professor Brophy, as part of his classroom, would have 1 to 1.5 hours that was devoted to speakers and presenters coming in for the presenting for the classroom material. So what the TA Reed would do after the classes were complete is he would then put the videos into smaller segments, and then, as we would say, Clixify them to add the additional functionality, and then he would post them into the students' announcements so the students could review them after the speakers had already gone. So if you had any questions about Jason Mendelson's lecture video from the beginning of class, you could go through here and you could find out where to buy his book, what the grid eye skill would be, things of that nature that he had spoken about in class, which also, basically what they were doing is Clifty was taking cliff notes for them as the video was continuing to play, okay? So this was also done prior to the ability for us to chapter and gate, and that is going to be the next thing that we're going to take a look at is the concept of gating and of chaptering. So one of the things that was asked to us by the University of Michigan prior to us launching this pilot was that we would go ahead and make sure that this feature was tested and its functionality was properly presented in class. And this has to do with the ability to lock content for chapters and require that the student take a quiz successfully before unlocking the next chapter inside of the video. So what we did was we created a story. We took various chapters or segments of the speakers that were presented into Professor Brophy's class, small segments, 3 to 5 minutes long, and then wove what we call a story into place that was a continuous viewing experience for the students. However, they would be tested on their knowledge periodically throughout the video. So if we go ahead and play this video, as you can see here, all the chapters that are available, I'm only able to watch the first chapter because the next chapters are locked. If I play this video, what it does is it unlocks the first one, will hide the chaptering, and then if I go ahead and show it, what it will show me is the status of this particular chapter as it's being watched. So now if I go ahead and I jump forward to here, what I'm going to do is regardless of any action on the student's part, the lecture is going to stop, the video is going to stop, and a quiz is going to be delivered into the student's viewing experience. Now, I am not able to take this particular quiz at this time because this quiz is closed. However, this was something that the students found particularly useful for the concept of their final exam. So what the students were given was that if they were able to go through and successfully complete the lecture study review video, then they received an extra 10% credit that went towards their final examination grade. And some of the topics that were covered inside of the videos that were available within this particular story were not available anyplace else unless you'd actually watched the video. So now what I'd like to do is I'm going to switch back over to the actual presentation so that we can hear some of the comments that were made as the students and other folks were going through. So now we're going to be hearing presentations from not only Reed Hostrander, but also Professor Brophy and some other members in the audience.
So although we didn't get the chance to add this into Professor Brophy's class, another feature that we have had is the thing we call conditional branching. And that's a more complex version of the lecture review video. So this allows each student to have a different learning experience based on their test scores, knowledge, or interest. And I'll let Tim show a more complex example.
And that's exactly as Reed just described it. It's basically a way for the instructor to assess the student's knowledge level without ever having met the student. And then after having met the student, to deliver information that will properly direct them to material that's appropriate to their learning level, perhaps without even the student knowing it. So as this graph will show, we're going to show a short introduction video. A quiz will be delivered inside of the video, and then based on the score of the quiz, the student will be directed to the appropriate video content. This is, mastery path with video, if you will. So if I go ahead and press play, and then I'm going to go ahead and advance this video to the end, the gating portion of it. Because Professor Brophy is speaking here, you can hear all the things that he's teaching about. And then we're going to go ahead and advance it to that quiz. If I go ahead and take this quiz, and I'm going to go, okay, IPO stands for Initiative Public Offering. Take the quiz quickly. Private equity. And then go here. And so what that'll do is it says, thank you, you've gotten 3 out of 3 correct answers, and it's advancing me to Module 1, Section 4. I continue watching, and it takes me to the video content that's appropriate to my learning level. Now, if I go back and I go ahead and I take this introduction video again, I advance it to the end of the video, I take the quiz, and I fail it miserably. Then it will direct me again, 0 out of 3, advance to module 1, section 2. So Canvas in this particular case is not doing anything other than delivering the course material. Clixie is actually the one that's responsible for extracting the necessary video from its top repository. Here at the University of Michigan, they use Kaltura as their primary CDN, but Clixie, it doesn't matter to us really who the CDN is. So in this particular case for the pilot, we use the Amazon Web Services CDN. Okay. So now the other additional thing about Clixie that is very important is we've taken a look so far at what the students have seen from their end and how they were able to interact with the videos. Now, much or just as important in our eyes here at Clixie, and hopefully Professor Brophy as well, was the importance of showing how much information was available on the individual student. So as part of the pilot agreement at Clixie, we did an integration into their Canvas system using the LTI framework. You can see that you have this little Clixie button at the bottom. It's only available to me inside of the University of Michigan Canvas instance as I am an instructor or an administrator. This would not be available to students. So from here, you were able to see all of the information that's required in order to be able to create those things like interactivity inside of the videos, those stories, the video study guides, and conditional branching. Also from within this example, you are able to see analytics about the individual students. Now, the student authentication and authorization is still being conducted by Canvas. We at Clixie here are integrated within the authorization of Canvas student data. So we are able to marry the video data about the behavior to the individual student. So if I go here and I look at this particular student's history, what this shows me at a glance is it shows me that he watched the Jason Mendelson video the most. Out of 33 published videos, he watched 21. If I click on a particular video here to see how well he did, or how his viewing patterns are, I can actually see that he watched this video twice. What this shows is that he watched it through once all the way through, then he went back to the beginning, restarted the video, and skipped all the way back through to the end. So we are able to provide an extraordinary amount of data about the students based on what they do in class. Okay. So now the other thing that so obviously we really wanted to present the data about how well that Clixie was received in class. Not just about Clixie, but about video interactivity. So what we're going to talk a little bit about is the statistics from the survey data that was delivered from the students. So there were 2 surveys that were done inside of the class, and one of them was done on the first week, and then the second one was done towards the end of the second week. Okay. So what we were able to do is we were able to find out that 89.8% of students said that Clixie was easy to use. 86.4% said that chaptering was valuable and easy to use. And the next one, and probably one of the most important ones for us, was that the 81.4% said that the study guide for the final exam with the gating and the quizzing inside of the video, that helped them prepare for the final, and that 69.5% said that the video announcements that showed what the class content would be prior to the class helped them actually prepare for the class. So, and then I will go ahead and let Professor Brophy deliver the final results.
Well, we thought the pilot was successful for students and instructors. Increased student engagement, much more involved, higher efficiencies of teaching methods, got the messages across. actionable preemptive student data. There was at least one situation where we felt that they weren't picking up on the video announcement. So we reminded them and they jumped on and so on. So we're able to sort of monitor it and take corrective action, you might say. The students really like the lecture review video as a help with the final exam. And that's very, very important because it gives an objective record of what they've done. It's accessible to them, and it cuts down on the arguments and so on about what actually was treated in the material. The students adapted to the interactive videos quicker than we expected. Very little, if any, student support was required. They're all, of course, computer literate, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised at the ease with which they did it. But they actually liked the lecture review video, and that was easy to use. Their happiness with it was higher than expected, and they really mastered it pretty quickly. We thought it was fairly complex, but no real problem. The idea of adding interactivity to the class videos gave us the ability to increase, we feel, class participation and engagement. Some of the videos obviously were much more engaging than others. We, for example, felt that maybe the weekly announcements could be improved by having more and better and more targeted material in it, content. Our evidence there was that the students began to look at the printed material that we provided along with it, as opposed to looking at the video. It was surprising that fewer students wanted more video announcements in other classes, or thought, that the video announcements helped structure and organize the class. The video data shows that more students were interacting with the VAs in the beginning of class, perhaps through the novelty of it, and less at the end, as they became more familiar and, as soon as they realized that the text that we provided was maybe more efficient for them to use to get information. And that's about it. We're very pleased with what we've done so far, and we intend to continue to use it and build on it and go deeper with it and add more functions to the extent that's possible. We've got some time for questions, and you're welcome to start.
Yes, so now we'd like to open it up to the audience. So we would love to hear if anybody has any questions specifically to Professor Brophy about his experience in class, or to any of us here at CLICSI about the video interactivity or experiences here.
I have a question for Professor Brophy. Tim was showing this conditional learning paths, and my understanding is in your normal classes you have undergrad MBA candidates, people that just drop in, you have people of all different levels coming to your classes. By using these conditional learning paths, by giving a quiz up front in 30 seconds or 60 seconds into your video presentation, and actually deciding which path they should take, how much will that help you as an instructor?
Yeah, I think that it could be extended not just to students, but to the different groups that are participating here. I think that using it with the mentors, using it with the CEOs, using it with the students, and actually our distant CEOs as well. Anytime we can tighten the connectivity and the interactivity with all of those people, what we're doing is strengthening the notion that everybody is getting more or less, you might say, the same message, and we enhance the ability and effectiveness of those people to compare what they understand. And all we're looking for here in this class is velocity of improvement in the company and the students. And our efforts are driven in that direction, and that's why we have these mentors and so on involved. So I totally agree with your point.
And also to Professor Brophy's point about the composition of this particular class, how it had a number of people in a great variety of different locations that were coming in. I mean, we are here at the University of Michigan in the traditional classroom setting that is becoming more of a blended environment where you have both participation in classroom and outside. But the interactivity is certainly equally as important as if that you were an online university or even a university that's participating in things such as MOOCs. So one of the things that was challenging in the past was the proprietary nature of these quizzing applications for things such as ability to deliver it inside a video, because we've been listening for a long time and we've heard that that's what everybody wants the ability to do, and to have it tied to proprietary systems is complex because you guys have invested a lot of money into certain technologies, and so the ability to come in and slide in to an existing workflow and infrastructure technology environment is a critical path for us, and to be certified within Canvas with this very tight integration that people didn't have to navigate away from their Canvas application. They could just go ahead and create all the interactivity directly from within something that they were familiar and used to, was a huge benefit to us. And then the ability to, as we like to say, our mantra is simple, fast, and easy, to be able to do that inside of the video content that was presented to the classes.
The other thing that we didn't actually get to test, I mean, there's a lot of things we didn't get to test, but the impact of having it available on mobile phones, you know, when you've got a student body and all of these people who, after Wednesday night being together, I mean, they usually meet once more during the week, but imagine they're all scattered to the four winds. And the idea that you can pick this up on your cell phone,
And they did.
yeah. It's terrific.
How would you know that?
So we have the ability to track the data, and so we know what types of devices that the students are accessing the data from, in order to find out how the best viewing experience for the students. So I mean, Clixie is 100% mobile responsive in that respect, and can adjust the video content depending on the application that's being served through, of course. So, but many of the students in this particular class were watching the videos from mobile phones. Primarily, they were accessing it through standard laptops and tablet devices and mobile phones. But they were, one of the things that we saw that was interesting was that primarily the students were accessing the Canvas application through mobility, and they were doing it from their browser application through Safari or through Chrome. They were not doing it through the Canvas app, which we are integrated to as well. So let me go ahead and see if anybody has any questions, any more questions. Okay, well then we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and I'd like to thank everybody again for being here today to see how Clixie significantly improved the learning experience for instructors and students. Obviously, anyone that's interested in learning more about Clixie, you can contact us through our website here at www.clixiemedia.com. Clixie is also listed on the partner product page, and we do attend instructor events. So if you'd like to find out if we're going to be local to you soon, or arrange to have a demonstration and ask some more questions about Clixie, we welcome to hear from you. So thank you again, everybody, and go blue.
Tim, you available still?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry, is there one more question, please?
There's some questions in the chat. If you want to go to the chat real quick.
Thank you for notifying me.
There it is.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I'm sorry. Can you send the link? Are the results of the study data available? Yes, the results of the study are available. How long does it create to create the lecture review video?
So I was in charge of making the lecture review video. The hardest part was choosing which portion of each of the lecture videos to actually take as a segment. But once we were able to do that, and I was able to break that up, actually using the Clixy tool to create the chaptering and the quizzing, after we had decided what each of the quizzes would be, took about an hour to actually assemble everything. And then, like I said, deciding how to test each of those segments and create the quizzes took another hour. So the hard part was really just deciding as a TA and with Professor Brophy what was the most relevant section from each of the lecture recordings.
Absolutely. And so, another question from Stacy Manning: if instructors create the video within Canvas directly, is it still possible to insert click points to content within Clixy? Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And then, we're happy to share the full results of the data. Obviously, we just created and shared with you the high points. We're happy to provide the full report. We actually did a pilot, a business case study on this particular pilot, and we're happy to share the results of that with everybody and anybody that's interested. So again, I will put my email address into the chat window, and anybody that's interested in sending an email to me in regards to that, we're happy to do that.